Hi, welcome to another episode of People in Politics here on the Metropolis channel. We're very honored today to have our guest, David Greenspan, County Councilman from Cuyahoga County.
Well, thank you.
Great to have you on board.
Appreciate being here today.
Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
You're a big fan of the show, obviously,
Absolutely.
right?
Haven't missed an episode.
Yeah, that's great. So I'm very curious to learn more about you. You're not native from Cuyahoga County, right? You
Correct.
grew up in Georgia?
Well, originally New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
And then I lived in the South for 30 years. I've been here about 8 years.
Okay.
Love it. Love it. I have no intentions of living anywhere else.
That's great. Now, were you in politics was it Georgia?
In Georgia.
In Georgia.
Right,
Were
right.
you in Atlanta or?
There's a suburb of Atlanta, just north of Atlanta, a city called Sandy Springs. We're the first new city in Georgia to incorporate nearly 50 years, city of nearly 100,000 people. A little different how you become a city in Georgia. Actually, it's an act of the legislature.
Oh, wow.
So it took a while for that to go through the process. Actually, 35 years was the struggle for incorporation. We incorporated in 2005. And we're the first new city in Georgia, as I said, but right behind us, a dozen other cities or so have incorporated since then. And actually, this December is the 10-year anniversary of the city.
Now, were you elected in
I was.
Georgia too? And what did you do down there?
So I was on the city council of the city. Each of our districts, our wards up here, as they're referred to, was about 15,000 people. So it was actually a large district. There were 6 elected council members and an elected mayor.
Great. And so public service is in your blood.
It is. You know, if you do it correctly, in my opinion, it's a lot like a philanthropic endeavor.
Okay.
And so I like giving back and being engaged and involved. And I've done it ever since I graduated college. I was involved in a nonprofit for a number of years. And when my kids got old enough, my older children, was coach of their sports teams, commissioner of their leagues and so forth, and felt like that was giving back. And then this opportunity became available to get involved in the formation of a new government, which was exciting. Took advantage of the opportunity, involved in the organizing and effort to bring the city forward, and had the opportunity to serve on the inaugural council in 2005.
Wow, that's great. Now, what brought you to Cuyahoga County?
So, interesting, real quick story. So, my wife and I were engaged in college in 1988. We separated for 18 years, didn't get married, and fate brought us back together. She was living here.
Wow.
Came up to visit in February. When I landed at Hopkins, it was like landing in Siberia. But fell in love with the area, loved the cultural diversity. I'm originally from New Jersey, so a lot of the environment that I grew up in as a child is prevalent here, and I kind of miss it, and I love the Midwest culture, so kind of fell in love with it in February, and have almost been here ever since.
Wow, that's great. That's great. And now you're part of the first county council in Cuyahoga County.
Right.
And ironically, you're part of the minority side of it, right? You're an elected Republican.
Right.
And Cuyahoga Council is mostly Democrat, but you have a pretty big position in county council. You're chairman of finance committee.
Right.
So there's a little bit of good bipartisanship on council for them to be able to appoint you to that position.
Right. Well, and it's interesting. You're right. There are 11 of us on council. There are 8 Democrats and 3 Republicans. We're elected in a partisan fashion. I've been saying this for now into our 5th year. We don't operate that way.
Sure.
And it took a lot of courage from Ellen Conley, who was our first council president, to really look at the strength of each individual council member. And when it came time for committee appointments, appointed us to our strengths. And so I now chair finance, which Council President Brady appointed me to chair finance this January. And although Council President Conley is no longer with council, that vision of appointing members based on their strength has been continued through Council President Brady.
Now, why is finance chair your strength? What's your background business-wise?
Sure. Well, I have a degree in accounting.
Okay.
When I graduated from college, I moved to Miami, Florida, worked in public accounting for a few years, got a strong financial background in public accounting, moved to Atlanta and worked for various organizations such as Turner Broadcasting, the Atlanta Olympic Broadcasting, Turner Media Consultants, the PGA Tour Radio Network, in financial and operational disciplines. So I've been chief financial officer of 2 public companies. I took them public.
That's great.
I've been chief operating officer of the PGA Tour Radio Network, and have held a few CEO level positions here in Northeast Ohio. So that strong financial background, I think, is important, obviously, in understanding business and the business cycle, and it translates very well into government as well.
That's great. Well, you have quite the resume. I mean, just by telling us in, 30 seconds, but I'm sure we could talk about 30 minutes, the resume that you have, but that's very impressive. So you have this business life, you have this home life, you have a political life. What do you do for fun? I mean, there's got to be something.
Well, I've got 3 children. So I have a 22-year-old who's in college at Kent State. I have a 20-year-old who's at Troy University in Alabama, which is my alma mater. And I have a 4-year-old. So between those 3 3 children, my wife. I also enjoy fly fishing and playing golf. So
do you? Okay.
in between, I try to sneak around to golf in or a half day of fly fishing.
Now, where do you go fly fishing in the area?
Well, Rocky River actually is a phenomenal fly fishing resource. Up to 180,000 or so steelhead will migrate into the river every year to spawn. So although I've been unsuccessful so far in landing a steelhead, doesn't mean I don't try.
You don't try.
I also have never had a hole-in-one, but I still play golf as much as I can
That's
as well.
good. And you like golfing, so that's a big thing. I love golfing. You seem to have a lot of people who love golf too.
Right.
So I'm assuming you're a big Cleveland sports fan too.
I am.
That's great.
Well, I've been a hometown sports team everywhere I go, but there's a vibe here in Northeast Ohio, and obviously with LeBron coming back, there's an excitement with baseball, with basketball. As far as baseball is concerned, people forget last year the Indians did make the playoffs, although it was one game. So we've got an exciting opportunity here. And the Browns every year, the diehard nature of sports fans in Northeast Ohio is phenomenal.
Diehard, yeah. We love the heartache on that side of it. But I mean, right now as we film, the Indians I think are 5 games behind.
They're playing well.
They're playing well. Hopefully we can make a little bit of a comeback here, make a playoff run.
Well, people don't realize, we're September now. The NBA season starts in October.
I know.
So we're right around the corner there. Football's starting up here next Sunday. As far as pro football is concerned, OSU's on Monday night. So a lot of good sports things happening.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be in Cleveland with all the sports, the RNC coming, the debate we just had. It's very, very exciting.
Right.
And speaking about the debate and who's going to be next president and stuff like that, one of the questions that we love to ask everybody on the show is, who's your favorite American president and why?
Right.
Sometimes it's a complicated answer, but we'll see what you come up with.
Well, some may think it's a traditional Republican response of saying Ronald Reagan, but I would say, looking at his history as president, things that were accomplished during that time, and the legacy he's left behind. Also in my life, he was elected in 1980. My first election I was able to vote for was his re-election.
Okay.
So I have kind of was getting involved in politics, really understanding the climate and the culture around the same time that I was able to vote initially, and so I kind of went through college, with the Reagan presidency. Right.
Yeah, sure. Now, were you involved in politics in college? Some people were involved in Young Republicans or Democrats or anything like that.
In high school, I was involved. I was president of my student body.
Oh, okay.
Which is actually how I went to college on a leadership scholarship.
Wow.
In Alabama, at Troy University in Alabama. And when I was there, I was involved in student government. I was a student senator. Prior to being a student senator, my first year on campus, because I missed the election cycle, I was involved. I was parliamentarian of the Student Government Association and got involved as an assistant to the president of the student body, then was a student senator after that. So I've kind of always been involved. My grandmother on my father's side really got me involved in thinking about public service, because she always said to me, anybody can give money, and money is important to causes and obviously to political campaigns and so forth, but to give of your time is really what's valuable.
Absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head.
So I've always been engaged in organizations based on that belief of giving back. I was president of the Booster Club for my older children when they were in school, and I would envision that my involvement with my younger son's activities is going to continue as well.
You're a busy guy. I don't know how you do this all. That's just amazing. Another overachiever on people in politics. It's amazing. Well, I thank you very much for coming on and being our guest today. And
thanks for having me.
Hopefully you'll come back on soon again. And I know you have a bright political future ahead of you in public service. I can sense that, and I think things are going to work out very, very well for you. So thank you for coming on board.
Appreciate the opportunity.
And thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of People in Politics. We'll be back very soon. Thanks, guys.